in Ohio to now, as of this morning, we've got more than 13,000 cases here in Ohio in just 6 weeks. We've got well over 500 deaths in Ohio. So this thing has become a pretty big deal. And we've had more unemployment claims filed in 4 weeks, in the last 4 weeks, than all of the claims filed in 2018 and 2019 combined. We understand just how difficult these things are, which is why we're trying to do everything we can to help. Today, I really wanted to focus on the food industry. And of course, we have been hurt by the economic fallout from the coronavirus in different ways. But one of the industries that's the hardest hit are those who work in the food service industry, where many people are forced to stretch their earnings week to week in a good economy because it's not an industry that has a high profit margin. We here at Franklin County government have been working on a lot of different programs to provide some relief for Franklin County residents. We will continue to provide assistance and help wherever we can. The industry, though, is one where we all need to lend a hand. To get a better sense of what they're experiencing, I brought together a sampling from different types of restaurants from across town. With me today is Mike Pappas. Mike is the owner of Tommy's Diner on West Broad Street in Franklinton. You'll obviously know which one he is. He's wearing it right across his chest there. We also have with us Winnie Alameo and her son Moses Hyalom from Flavor 91 on East Main Street in Whitehall. You can see Flavor 91 in the background behind them. And we have my old friend, I shouldn't say that, my longtime friend. If he's old, I'm old. We have Leo DeSabato from Emilio's on Georgesville Road out near the casino on the west side. I should note that I also have some experience in the food industry as well. For a number of years, I was in the food business myself. I used to be at the Ringside Cafe downtown. I was also in business with mine and Leo's friend Eric Woodland with the Woodland Group. Eric owned and has owned a number of places throughout town. He likes to be in the bar business as opposed to the restaurant business. Eric prefer to sell spirits as opposed to selling food because the profit's better there than it is in the food business. So I spent about 6 years in the same type of business as these guys. And so I have some experience there. So let's get started with some questions. If you're watching this live on Facebook, you can submit your questions live via Facebook. We'll try to get them answered. We have a number of people monitoring the Facebook pages for us. So go ahead and shoot your questions in. The other thing we'd like to do, if we can, these guys, I grew up with Leo. I've known him my whole life. I've been in and out of Emilio's my entire life. And the reason these guys are on here, and not only are they my friends, their restaurants are fantastic. Leo has, his place has what I consider to be the best pizza in Columbus. Tommy's Diner is what I think is the best diner food in Columbus. And Mike and his dad, Tommy, run a fantastic business. And Winnie and Moses have what I believe, and my kids believe, are the best chicken wings in all of Columbus. So not only do they run good businesses, not only are they great people, but they have fantastic food. And that's why they're here as well. But the other thing I'd like for everybody to do while we're on here, not only submit your questions to us, but if you got great places that you want to recommend, because we're going to talk about a program called Love Local, Tip Local, because I want to talk about tipping with these guys today too. But if you've got great places that you want to recommend while we're on Facebook Live today, put your favorite restaurants and favorite spots up on here today, and recommend places that people ought to check out while we're in the middle of all this. We want to support not only Tommy's and Flavor 91 and Emilio's, but we want to support as many places as we can. And before we get done, we're going to ask these fine folks on here to recommend some of their other favorite places other than their own restaurants as well. But I'm going to get started with some questions for our guests, and then you guys shoot in your questions as well. So my first question, we're going to start with Mikey Pappas from Tommy's, but I'm going to ask all three of you guys the same questions. But my first question is, first off, So tell all of our listeners about your restaurant. Where is it located? How long have you been in business? Tell us whatever you want to tell us about brag about your business, but tell us where it is. How long have you been in business? Tell us a little bit about your place and brag about your place a little bit. And we'll start with you, Mike.
So we are at 914 West Broad Street. My parents started the business back in 1989. We just finished our 30th year of business. We are your classic diner. We specialize in breakfast. We also offer a lot of lunch options, burgers, sandwiches, dinners. We do daily specials every single day. Home cooked, started with my mom's recipes. Everything's kind of made in house. Our soups, our chili, everything's made in house. We just try to stay up with trends, but also stay true to the diner vibe. As far as bragging about my place, I think we have probably one of the top breakfasts in the city. I don't know. Everything's made from scratch. We use high quality ingredients. We don't sacrifice on quality. So.
All right. Well, plus the one thing I can tell, because I go there a lot. One of the things I can tell you about the place is they always have great specials every day. Not only do people go there for the menu items, but people go there every day to check out what the menu is. People know, certain special item is on the menu, on a certain day, and they go there on that day just for that special, which is a diner thing, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, great. All right, let's go to Moses and Winnie. I already told everybody you guys have fantastic chicken wings. Everything else on the menu is great. I've been getting takeout from places during the shutdown and during the stay-at-home order. I got takeout from everybody here. Obviously, a couple times from Mike in his place at Tommy's Diner. A couple times from Leo. I was just in Leo's place the other night. Got some takeout from Winnie and Moses yesterday. Got a big order from you guys yesterday, but the kids absolutely tore up 3 orders of chicken wings yesterday. Tell us about your place, where it is, and tell us about brag on your place a little bit, guys.
So Flavor 91 Bistro is an Ethiopian American restaurant. We specialize in bringing Ethiopian influences onto American favorites. So, for example, our menu features Ethiopian-style grass-fed burgers, Ethiopian dry-rub wings, and Ethiopian barbecue wings, which are the best in Ohio. We also have Ethiopian-style vegan options, fresh salads. But the main thing in our restaurant is we source local from Ohio farms. So our beef, lamb, chicken, they're all non-GMO, no antibiotic, hormone-free. And we do our best to blend our Ethiopian heritage spices and herbs to give our food an authentic flavor. So that's what we're about. We're located at 5186 East Main Street. We've been open since September 15th, 2016. So we're coming up on 4 years this year.
All right.
So everything we have in our restaurant also we locally source it from the Ohio farm. We like to support the farmers that in Ohio. And then, especially me, I was born in Ethiopia, like he said. I grew up everything getting it from your farm. So until I came to the state, I never heard about GMO antibiotic on the food. So even before we open a restaurant, we always get our meat from the farmers, like from the butcher, like butcher grocery type of thing. So that's what we do. Everything we eat at home, we sell it in our restaurant, and
Wanted to make sure we sell what we eat.
yeah. And then I make everything from scratch. The soups that we make, everything done in the house, everything that I grew up using and eating. That's what we sell. So everything is fresh, and you have ate it here. Hopefully, the rest of our colleagues come in, tried it here, and we'd love to have you guys here.
Great. All right, Leo, you're up. Tell us about Emilio's. I know the story, but you go ahead and tell us some more.
Okay, Emilio's. My dad started Emilio's in 1960. We're on Georgesville Road, 574 Georgesville Road, just south of the casino, and we've been there ever since. And what we specialize in, John talked about, our pizza, salads, and subs. And like John said, we I think we have great pizza. We have the Columbus style pizza, which is, thin crust and the nice little pepperonis, the good stuff. So, and, about 12 years ago, we started doing catering also. So that's a kind of another stream of revenue for us. And we cater all types of events, weddings, corporate events. So we've really, that side of the business, we've really expanded the menu, and we do all kinds of stuff there. And of course, that's since, with the new restrictions, catering's come to a halt, but, our pizza takeout and delivery has been pretty decent for what's going on today. So thank you.
So, yeah, the special salad, by the way, at Emilio's is something. It's a unique thing, and everybody loves it. So I apologize if it seems as though I'm not always looking directly at the camera. I've got different people here to look at on the screen, and my computer's over here, and so I got notes going, and I got people handing me notes, and so I apologize if I seem as though I'm a bit distracted. So guys, talk to me, talk to us, talk to the viewers about what the coronavirus or the COVID-19 has done in a particular, not just the virus and all of the things that social distancing and the fear of the virus and all of that has brought, but also then the shutdown orders, and talk to us about this new normal and what it's done to your business and how you guys operate. We'll start with Tom or Mike. Sorry. It's hard for me. Well, it's tough to do that, not only because of your dad, but also because it's right there on your shirt.
I get called Tom 100 times a day, so don't worry about it. For us, the new normal, I don't like the new normal. I hate not having customers in here. We are down probably to about 25% of normal revenue. We've started to do delivery services through Uber Eats, which is something we never did before. It's an adjustment, to be honest. Luckily, we're able to keep about 80% of our staff on payroll, reduced hours, and some reduced pay, but we've been able to keep a lot of our folks still here. We're fortunate that we own our building. We don't really owe on it. That makes a huge difference. If we had to pay 10 grand a month rent, it's a completely different ballgame. But the takeout has been going pretty well considering what it is. We rely heavily on downtown traffic during the week, the downtown business crowd for lunch, and there's none of that downtown. So we've kind of had to improvise and try to think of new creative ways to try to get people to come down and do takeout. And just for safety purposes, we also are doing curbside, pay over the phone, just little things that we never really did before, just to, help people feel safe, and for our staff too, just to kind of limit, face-to-face contact with people.
And I apologize, I didn't think of this until you mentioned it. We when we were putting all this together, I didn't think of it. All three of you guys own your own buildings, right? When you own the building, I know Leo owns the building. You guys all own it. That's a big positive for all three of you. I hadn't thought about that as we were putting all this together. That's good.
Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world for us.
How about Winnie and Moses? How's the new normal? How's all this impacting you guys?
I'm gonna let my mother start. Go ahead, Mom.
Well, for us, we lost about 80% of our revenue, making about 20% was take out. Definitely, because we don't have a drive-through, that really affects a lot, and we're taking a chance to, when people come, we're not sure if they're healthy or they're carrying the coronavirus. So we try to protect ourselves and our staff. So we kept almost all of our staff doesn't have a second income or doesn't have another job. We put them in payroll, but we can't schedule them. Some of them because of their age, their health.
We don't want to put ourselves at risk or them.
Yeah, we don't want to put them at risk ourselves or them. So sometimes you don't know when the rush is gonna come. Dinner time, we be three of us or one more staff with us, and we just don't know what to do. We have a lot of people ordering, and the phone is ringing, and a lot of time, to be honest with you, people are doing it to help us to stay in business. We're so grateful for a lot of our customer because the way they tip when you see, and sometimes they order a large quantity of food so we can generate business.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a big difference. I mean, I don't think we can ever adapt to it. Like I said, not having drive-through has just been difficult for us. And other than that, and we'll be able to pay our staff while they staying at home. People who doesn't have a second income or not a second job, we try to maintain as much as possible. It has been the most difficult life that we're experiencing right now. But overall, we're healthy, we're alive. You know, there's a lot of people who's worse than us. So we're providing for our employee who's staying at home to come and get free meal also. You know, they don't have a way to go to the grocery, get the stuff. So you can come and pick up food on us.
Also,
So,
some of the other things on the side is, maintaining quality when food goes out for takeout.
mhm.
Does it get to your home in good condition? And, we're working with third party, delivery services, making sure that the food is received great as best as we can. Takeout as a model, as a business model, definitely has a ceiling. But we definitely notice a lot of good things that's come from it. We have a program where our guests can contribute $5 to their meal, and we'll match the difference to feed a healthcare facility. So we've noticed people being generous and being, um, you know, wanting to be a part of things that are outside of themselves, to see that the community is taken care of. So people lending hand and things like that has been positive that's come from it, of course.
Yeah, we're trying to encourage, the healthcare worker. They are putting their life on the line. So, in fact, we provide them with the whole menu. For example, if they want to order lamb burger, is like $13, but the customer donut is $5. We match the rest, the $8,
Hmm.
and then
And we'll
we
deliver it over to
deliver
them.
it for them. So that's been
That's
working.
great. You guys have always been good members of the community doing paying back and doing stuff. Yeah, that's great. So, Leo, how about you? What how's this impacting you guys?
Well, overall, our pizza delivery and pickup has been pretty decent. Um, but um, as far as the inside, our inside sales are way down. Like I said before, our catering part of the business is down to zero. But we feel fortunate that I think being in the pizza business, that type of food is already, conducive for pickup and takeout. So we've kind of held our own with that part, but overall we're down pretty significantly. But you know, we're we're more fortunate, I think, than a lot of people, and we've been able to pay most of our staff, keep most of them on, and we've been able to keep up with their healthcare. Um, we've been able to pay for the healthcare for our staff and even the ones that are laid off. So I feel fortunate that we can do that so far. But and as far as trying to protect our staff, we're in the same boat as the other guys have talked. We implemented some measures to try to keep the the exposure to other people to a minimum, and that's to protect them and to protect the staff. But overall, we're grateful that we have a loyal customer base, and it seems to me that people I think are really pulling for us and for I think a lot of restaurants in the area, and I feel fortunate that that's happening.
All right. So let me get to some notes here from folks on Facebook Live. First of all, we should be noted that we're getting there's a lot of folks on that are paying attention right now, and all three of your restaurants are getting a ton of compliments. A lot of complimentary comments on Facebook from folks about all all three of your restaurants. That's a great thing. We have a note here from the Blue Note Jazz Cafe has joined the conversation, and they say hello. So there you go. And then I have two things here. One is a question for Leo at Emilio's, and then the other one is a question for all three. Leo, you have a fan in Delaware County who would like to know, and I guess all three of you could possibly answer this potentially, but they want to know if it's possible to par bake your pizzas because they're all the way up in Delaware County. They want to know if they can come down, get a pizza that's par baked that they can finish baking at home since they have such a long drive back.
Yes, that's actually been a growing part of our business. We offer that. We cook it most of the way. We don't cut it, and we'll put it on on foil. We'll wrap up we'll wrap the pizza disc in foil, and then you just take it home, turn up the oven to about 400 or so, and you can just put it on there, put it in the oven without a you don't want to use a pizza stone or anything like that. Just put it in the oven and let it get warm and bring it out and cut it up. And it actually works very, very well. It's a good way to do it. So yeah, that's not a problem at all.
My sister texted me this morning. I think she was texting with you about she's getting some pizza as well. And I actually suggested that to her. That's funny. And then we got another question about it, from another Facebook Live viewer. So maybe, Delaware County potentially could be one of my sisters talking to one of my other sisters. Anyway. And then we have another question here from a Derek Pennell. Have there been any changes with the food suppliers? So if you guys, all three of you, you start with Mike. Have you guys noticed any changes with your suppliers?
Our suppliers lowered their minimums just because we're not ordering anywhere near the amount of food we did before. But the one thing I have noticed there,
huge actually. That's
yeah, for sure. And then I've noticed we're out of stock on a lot of things too. Like I'll order beef; those first couple of weeks were very hard to get. So we've had to kind of adjust and find substitutions for things. But that's been the biggest thing that I've noticed from my suppliers.
Well, for us, we haven't had any issues with our supplier just because we work directly with farms. So RL Valley is one that we work with getting our beef, things like that. He's just noticed that he's had a reduction in orders. So if you're usually ordering, say 120 pounds from him, he's getting about 40 pounds now. The butcher and grocer is another one we work with. They've been doing their best to utilize what they have in inventory as well. But they've been able to meet our requests as well.
Yeah, for us, before the shutdown, we had a lot of inventory that we already had, stocked up. So that kind of helped us, but we had to throw some of the stuff too. And then after that, we minimized our order. So like most of the stuff, we was ordering a week, 200 pound of beef. Now we probably order 40. It's just we've been scaling back, and then because
and the amount of time we ordered too. So what would last us only a week is now lasting us longer, and we're finding ways to salvage as much as we can. So we're tightening our belts by still trying to be, patrons to our people that we've had good relationships with.
Yes.
Yeah, our as far as our suppliers, we've had not too much interruption. Everything that we've wanted, they've been very accommodating, and I think like Michael, talked about, they're very, they're working with us very well. We have long-standing relationships with our suppliers, and so far everything's been pretty good.
Yeah, your menu hadn't changed in 50, 60 years now, has it? Not much.
We have a pretty, for our, as far as our restaurant and takeout goes, it's pretty basic: pizza, subs, and salads. Now, as far as the catering part, like I mentioned before, we do a lot of different stuff. So we haven't even had to worry about that, or, haven't even seen if that's been, disrupted, which I'm sure part of it has been, because, that part of the business is pretty diverse, but we haven't, because of the, the orders now, there's not any catering going on. So we've been okay with the pizza part.
So my assistant over here, my trusty assistant, Jack, my son, tells me that people are texting or telling us on Facebook Live that we are all making them very, very hungry, which is also so. Well, if we're making everybody hungry, then they should be calling in some carry-out orders to your businesses, is what they ought to be doing. So hey, let's get into something else here. Let's maybe move away a little bit from talking about from your necessarily your restaurants, and talk about a little bit about something else. I know Mike Pappas brought this up with me earlier. So the Franklin County Commissioners we've been truly trying to help the businesses in Franklin County weather this storm. I'll give you a couple of examples. Over the last month, we have offered a couple of programs, and these are pretty major actions that we took. We did a $500,000 small business loan program with Economic Community Development Institute. This was something that was designed to help businesses like yours, like a lot of other types of small businesses, not just restaurants, but restaurants certainly took advantage of this, so that folks could use it as bridge loans to be able to get through this period of time. We also did a $500,000 workforce training program where it's direct cash for out of work employees. They go to the Workforce Development Board. They do some couple of weeks worth of workforce development training. And for doing that training, they could end up getting a $250 stipend. It's not a ton of money, but it's one, they get training, so which is always a good thing. But then two, $250 is nothing to sneeze at. It's something that they can use to help pay some bills. It's something they can use, but they were able to match that. Workforce Development was able to match that with a lot of other money. We've also we just did a resiliency focused project with the Columbus Urban League. It's technical assistance for minority and women-owned businesses in Franklin County, to focus on helping them with the SBA loans and other types of federal programs, there's a much deeper pool of money there. And so we did a lot of those types of things over the last month. And, of course, the federal government's provided small business loans. And I understand that those loans bring on a whole new set of problems, especially for those workers. Sometimes those workers don't come back after this economic crisis is over. I was talking, Mike and I were talking about some of the problems that come along with this. Mike, you want to, and all three of you, I'd love to have all three of you weigh in if you'd like, but I know Mike in particular brought this issue up because of the PPP that folks are getting unemployment. They're getting unemployment that's tough for some of you guys as employers to compete with. Mike, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So I can't speak for all businesses, but the last thing we want to do is accrue more debt during this time. So the PPP loan is great for a small business because if you spend the money within 8 weeks, it's all forgiven. You don't have to pay it back. 75% goes, or at least 75% goes to payroll. You can spend up to 25% on utilities and rent. And it's like a lifeline for small businesses. But you have to have the same amount of employees that you had last year. And the state unemployment is now giving everybody $600 extra on top of their unemployment, to where they're making way more money sitting on unemployment than they are with getting a paycheck from me. So now all of a sudden having a tough time reaching that number so that I can make it a grant and it can be forgiven and not accrue more debt. It's just kind of proven to be difficult. I mean, each plan individually is great, but I personally feel like they completely contradict themselves. And the one thing I'm worried about is just like I said, accruing more debt, digging myself in a deeper hole while we're just here trying to, survive.
Yeah, we talked about this. I looked at it and said, this is it's a lifeline where they didn't necessarily understand the folks they were trying to help when they were not all folks that were trying to help when they put together the program. I don't know if any of the others of you had looked at this or were in need of looking at a program like this.
Well, we try to apply, but to get into the website alone, it takes forever. We work on it for about 3 days. And then after we apply, they said the money ran out, so we didn't even get it. So, uh,
Yeah. So the issue is just the amount of people trying to apply for the loan at the same time. The infrastructure isn't there or in place to handle that, and then the allocation needs to be larger. I think that ORA put out a report that only about 9% of the whole stimulus package went to the restaurant industry, and so that doesn't get to everybody that needs it. You know, so there definitely needs to be some fixes around it. And then, of course, some other funds are out there, but the site crashes, and so you're not able to access it either way. It's a capacity issue.
like
Well, we,
Like Mike said, yeah, that's one of my concern also to have more debt that we're not making money. But even you want to take that chance, if you cannot get into and apply, what difference going to make? And then by the time you get to it, if the money is running out,
gotcha. Well, we've been encouraging folks to go to development.franklincounty.ohio.gov. I don't know if the three of you are interested or need to do that, but anybody that might be listening or watching, development.franklincounty.ohio.gov, at least access or talk to our folks in our economic development department. They can either A, be helpful through our programs that we mentioned, or B, maybe help you to access other programs that may be out there, or talk to you about the possibility of other programs that may be out there. Have any of you got, well, it sounds like, you guys have all, at least two of the three of you, I don't know, Leo, if you guys have had to take a look at this or not, or if you guys have been able to be okay with the amount of business that you guys have had. But so it sounds like at least two of the three of you have at least looked into economic relief so far, right?
Yes.
And believe me, I've talked to a bunch of different businesses in general and restaurants in particular that have looked at least short-term bridge relief to be able to get them through the coming months. And a lot of places, a lot of restaurants have had. So, Leo, by the way, we got another question about from somebody from out of county about par baked. I said we already answered that question. So apparently, folks are very much interested in par baked Emilio pizzas. So there you go. So maybe there's other pizza places that are listening that'll learn from that experience. So got another question here. Has anybody heard what the rules will be or what it will look like when restaurants are allowed to open back up? I'm not sure that anybody's developed any rules yet. I have heard about, people need to take temperatures, about, in all three of your places, this may be a little difficult, but, having to remove, half your seating because you won't be able to have, you'll have to have 50% of your capacity. So I've heard about all kinds of stuff like that, but I don't know that any of it's real or in writing at this point. I've just heard, that's been discussion, not even official discussion. That's just rumors, so, so.
Oh, hey, John, I wanted to go back to Derek's question from Blue Note. I think one thing that we missed was we don't have credit terms with our suppliers. That might be another portion of what his questioning is, because sometimes you can get 10-day, 20-day, 30-day credit terms, and that might pose another issue for people who have restaurants and have those credit terms with their suppliers. Are the suppliers understanding, or are they still demanding that they get their accounts receivables, things like that. So I can't speak on it because we do COD, but those that do the credit terms might have some concerns.
Gotcha. Well, that would be helpful. There's a lot of folks we've talked to a lot of folks in this time that are changing the rules, not doing business as usual, that are extending different types of business terms in these times. So that would be fantastic. It would be a great way to help folks out at this time. So it'd be great if that's happening. So here's something new and different and interesting. We are working on a couple new things in Franklin County. Hopefully they're going to help the food industry. We are developing at the moment. We've been developing, and we started developing it before this all came about. We're just trying to rush it out now as best we can. The idea of what we're calling a food business portal. It came out of the food plan that we've been working on for some time, along with the city of Columbus, the Columbus Franklin County Food Plan. And the idea, to give you an overview of what this is it's a business portal that would connect food-related business owners and entrepreneurs to a range of resources and services, including incubation, business and financial literacy, education, financing options, business planning, marketing, human resources, regulatory compliance, network and mentorship opportunities, professional expertise. So it's this, all things kind of encompassing legal and accounting services as well. This portal would be free, of course, hopefully user friendly. So we plan to have this thing available this spring. Although with the onset of COVID-19, it's disrupted plenty of plans as we go forward, but we're doing our best. So that's something that we're working on, hopefully for the restaurant industry and the food business industry, that we hope to have up and running for you guys and for folks in your business to be able to access and use. The other thing, at the beginning, I talked about the idea that we wanted to talk to you guys about tipping and talking about, what's going on in your industry right now. So Director Shimmer, our economic development director, kind of came up with this concept of love local, tip local, and wondering what you guys think of this. But the idea is, the bigger restaurants out there, the national chains, they're all going to be what they're going to be. They're all going to, do fine. I saw some stuff where some of these big national chains took some dollars that were intended for local businesses. Read some stuff about it recently. But during this time, everybody's doing a lot of cooking at home. My family and I are trying to get out and support local businesses. As I said when we started, Winnie and Moses are all the way. It's about a 35-minute drive to your restaurant from our house, but we got over there yesterday. Mike and Leo's places are much closer. I've been to both your places at least twice here recently, along with some of the others, and we're going to get back to Winnie and Moses' place. Mostly because if I don't, my kids are going to beat me because of those chicken wings. But we try to get to as many of our local restaurants as we can. And when we do, what I've been trying to encourage everybody to tip as much as possible. In normal times, folks don't necessarily tip on a carry-out order. You tip your waiter or waitress when you're in the restaurant. But in times like these, it's important to tip. Folks in your industry make their money on tips, and we're not serving any customers at their table these days. And so, I've been encouraging folks, we've been encouraging, Franklin County is encouraging people to tip on carryout orders. And I've been encouraging people to tip more than normal if they can afford it. And so would love to get your guys' take on what you think of this campaign and what you think of the idea of encouraging folks to tip during. I mean, obviously, you guys are the owners of the business, and so tipping doesn't benefit you guys; it benefits your people. But you know, what do you think of the idea of tipping during these times?
Tipping the owners would be okay too, but that's a whole separate issue.
If I'm gonna tip you, buddy, you better be dancing.
We're fortunate in the sense our customers have just as much of an emotional attachment to this place and our staff as we do, that some of the tips that have come in have been absolutely incredible. We had one couple the first day that gave a $3,000 check to our staff that we dispersed. But to see $100 tips has been pretty commonplace since this all started. And it's been incredible. You know, I've seen some of my servers cry over like tips that they've gotten over a $10 takeout meal. I think it's great. You know, the service industry, especially servers who rely on tips, it's scary times right now. You know, you can't just go and wait on a table and expect that tip. And with takeout only, you know, you don't know what to expect. So take care of them. You know, that's what I would say. They work hard. I don't know. I'm all for it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Moses,
Likewise, what Mike was saying was basically, you know, we're still serving food. We're still making sure people are fed. We're still making sure we get up and we provide as best we can for the people around. The servers who are working and the people in the back of house who are working, you know, I think most restaurants are finding ways to integrate that and make sure the people in the back are getting those tips. Because people have been generous, you know, like you were saying. It's crazy, not even the 25% to this 50%, 60% above that, and just people just giving and showing love. So that support is very much appreciated. You know, we feel it. We know that not everybody can afford it, but they still try. So, you know, we're happy about that, and so we hope it keeps going, but we hope that it can be repurposed for something even better on top of it. You know.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I agree with everybody. I think I've noticed this. I think the community spirit here in Columbus has been fantastic. I know people have been, you know, we have a loyal fan or customer base also, and people have been very supportive. And then also my wife and I, we've been trying to support local businesses, you know, restaurants also. And you know, the same thing when we go to these places, we try to, you know, tip them as good as we can because you know, people are working hard and everybody's been appreciative. So I've just seen a great spirit of the people during these trying times, and I think it's fantastic.
Well, that is true. There's definitely that. You know, when I've been to all your places, I've seen that. That's for sure. There's a couple of things that have come in here. I got a question from a Louis Pappas. Mike, is that somebody familiar?
I've heard of them. I'm kind of nervous.
Louis wants to know if there's any thoughts if local leadership will relax on outdoor dining spaces so that restaurants could service more customers since dining areas will be restricted. You know me, I'm all for anything that's gonna help out restaurants and you know, but at this point, I don't know that that's necessarily up to local leadership as much as state leadership in terms of you know, social distancing and your ability. I mean, you guys have a gigantic parking lot, but you know, what good's that going to do if I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you have plans of on nice summer days putting a whole bunch of tables and chairs out there in that parking lot?
One idea that he and I can bouncing back and forth is setting up like picnic tables out back. You know, if people come in and they get a carry out, but they don't want to come inside or they don't want to wait in line to come in based on whatever restrictions we might have, just having some tables in the back that people can go and sit at, you know, safe distancing. But is that something that we're allowed to do?
You mean in terms of serving them food or just having the place?
No,
for
they'll
them?
come in. They would come in, they would get takeout, and then there's just tables in the back where they just go and sit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to probably look into that and help you figure that out. I don't know the answer to that. You know, we could, you know, well, you know what? We should talk to Commissioner Mazzola, Joe Mazzola, the public health commissioner. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I wouldn't think that right now, under the current situation, that that's probably okay, but we'd have to talk to Commissioner Mazzola about that going forward. So, Leo, my sister Tina wants to know if there's any way you can help her get more than 2 beers when she comes in to get her carry.
That's a true Irish Catholic woman there, isn't it?
Of course, that would leave it up to, you know, more than 2 beers on a, you know. I think the answer to that is that she'd have to bring somebody else with her and make 2 orders, you know, and then she can get 4 beers.
There you go.
There's always a way around, you know. Us Reedy folks, we can always figure out a way around it, right?
That's right.
But no, Tina, you can only get 2 beers. And you can't open them in the parking lot either, right?
That's right.
Anyway, then we were number one. I want to remind everybody that's watching on Facebook Live. We've got another 10 or so minutes. If you're watching on Facebook Live, keep recommending restaurants of the places that you like to go, places around town. We want to make folks happy. By the way, Leo, also your brother Dominic says you're looking good on here. So, you know, leave it to the DeSabatos to jump on and populate. There's almost as many DeSabatos as there are O'Grady's.
So, almost.
Yeah. So I got a couple sisters watching. You got a couple of your family members watching today too. But here, I want to ask you guys. So, other than your own restaurants, other than Flavor 91 and Tommy's Diner and Emilio's, what are some of the places that you guys like to check out when you are not eating in your own restaurant? I got to be honest with you. I can't imagine you guys have much time to be in somebody else's restaurant because you guys are in you're always in your own restaurants. But where else do you guys like to
go? If I'm going out to dinner, I live north of Polaris, so I tend to stay in that area for dinner. I go to 101 Beer Kitchen a lot. They do a good job there. As far as breakfast,
hey, this is a Franklin County program, Mike. You're not allowed to.
They have Franklin County locations.
You're not allowed to be in Delaware County. What do you know?
For breakfast places, though, a lot of my friends and family have restaurants that I'll check out, like Stav's Diner in Bexley and Honey Dip Donuts over off of Kenny Road. So, and then if I come downtown at night, I like to go to the Red Brick Tavern every now and again. I just like to vibe in there.
It's good you got a place that's not a Greek restaurant. I like
that. Every now and again.
How about Winnie and Moses? You got places you like to go?
Yeah, our top 5 is Flavor 91, Flavor 91, Flavor 91.
Yeah, the food is good.
No, but I like Dos Hermanos. Lisa Gutierrez and her family do a great job.
Yes.
I like Jasmine Thai, that's in Pickerington. Lifestyle Cafe, Eden Burger. I like all those places. Lifestyle's in the Parsons area, and then Eden Burger's on High Street. I like all those places. What about you?
Good stuff. Leo?
He takes me with you, so I always eat with him.
Oh.
Whatever he takes me, I just go.
As long as Moses is buying, right?
That's right.
We're my wife and I, since this we like to eat out, but since the shutdown here, we've tried to support one night a week. We try to support a local we live in Grove City, so we try to support a local Grove City restaurant. And what we've there's a couple good ones around here. One's Three Brothers we really like, and a couple other places. And I know on Saturday we've been doing kind of trying to make it like a date night kind of thing, and ordered from a couple places around the last few weeks. for the curbside service. Like we've done Lindy's a couple times. We really enjoyed that. And, just different places around. We've been trying to support some restaurants during this time because we appreciate the support that we've been getting.
That's great. So we've done the same. Obviously, my family's done the same, and I, as you guys know, I know a whole lot of people that are in this business. We've been having people that have jumped in here. Leo, I know you know our friends at Hale's Ales. Hale's Ales is in Mill Run. Chris Hale and Todd Harple Road. I've known those guys for years and years. Used to be in business with the two of them back when I was in the restaurant business, and they do a great job. They have great takeout food, great food in there. It's a sports bar with lots of beer on tap, but they have great food there over in Mill Run, and Chris and Todd do a great job. And seems like whenever I go in there to watch a ball game on a Sunday, your brother Luke's in there anyway. So, the Savage family definitely supports that.
Yeah, it's a good place. Good place.
But some of the other places that folks have mentioned here, I know there's a place down in Grove City called Zazzy's Tap Room. Is that down in Grove City?
Yes.
101 Beer Kitchen's been mentioned, Olympic Diner, King Euro, and Three Brothers that you mentioned down in Grove City. I think those guys are originally from the place up here in Hilliard that we've been supporting for years called Starliner Diner.
Yeah, that's the same people.
Yeah, same family of folks, and we've been supporting those guys for a long time. They're a Hilliard institution, but the other place,
Gallows is a good place too.
I was just getting ready to say, I know your brother Adam is a big fan of Tommy Gallo at Gallows Kitchen, and I think they have three places: Gallows Tavern and another place. But Tommy Gallo is a hardworking guy. We've been supporting him. But there's a million of them. There are places all over town. What else? What else would you? I mean, you guys have other things before we get too close to timeout? I mean, do you guys have other things that you'd like to bring up, or other issues that you'd like to talk about as more people start shooting us places that they'd like for us to mention?
I just had a question. You were saying about Franklin County has the programs like for
ECDI, Workforce Development, United
Yes.
Way.
how do you get access to that?
So if you go to development.franklincountyohio.gov, you can access all of that on our website, or if you just call, I believe the number is 614-525-3166. I'm trying to remember. We'll post the contact information on here so that folks can get it. Winnie, I will get you the information. Our economic development department will help you to walk you through whatever you need. They'll answer all your questions. And before we're done, Winnie, I'll personally get you the information. But they're going to post all the information right on the Facebook page too. So for folks who need or want the access to that, they can get that.
For our staff who is they're like stressing and panicking in this situation, and all our associates, they're staying home and all that. But for some of them who need more support, and like could be like health support or mental support, do you guys, is Franklin County kind of providing any type of support like that for people who's laid off? And
Absolutely, that's our Franklin County, and that's our Franklin County Job and Family Services Department.
Okay.
Joy Bivens is the director of that department. You know Joy.
Yeah,
Of course,
Joy's our
yeah.
family.
Yeah. That's Joy's department. So we we don't do unemployment benefits, but we do all the other type of stuff. And so her department is all the other benefits and all the other necessary stuff. So we can do food assistance, we can do rent assistance, we can do all that kind of stuff through her department. Again, and I'm sure that Jody can post all that stuff on the Facebook page as well.
Just wanted to know, I mean, now we're paying them, but if there is comes a point, if the situation goes on and we can't be able to pay them, I just want to know in advance.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? What kind of assurance we can give them, or what kind of information we can provide them.
Well, Joy is the answer there. Joy Bivens, and I know you know her. That's how I met you.
Yes.
So I had a question for the other guys, Leo and Mike. Usually this time of year, is it busier for you guys, or is it slower, or like how has it been? Like say last year, the year before, this time of year, how is it for you guys usually?
We are usually pretty busy this time of year, especially like the weekends. There's, in March, there's the Arnold Festival. That's always a crazy weekend for us. And there's always kind of like races, like Race for the Cure, stuff like that. Events that are taking place downtown that really help us. Usually right now, we're pretty busy.
Same here. Starting mid-February until almost, starting from there and all the way, like you said, Arnold show and Easter, spring break.
Tax season.
That tax season it's been the best time of the year, and we're losing that right now.
Yeah, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Our springs are usually pretty good, but I mean, we're pretty steady as far as the restaurant and takeout. I mean, year round, but as far as catering, which, like I said, we've started doing 12 years ago, this is getting to be wedding season. So we're missing out on all that. My wife's in charge of the catering deal here, and she's been in contact. We've had many, a few weddings, or, the weddings for the year here booked, that a lot of them are, rescheduling for next year. Hopefully, we'll see how everything goes. Hopefully we'll, be ready when everything lifts to, keep doing the catering part of our business. So we're just having right now to put that on hold.
Same here. We just stopped doing catering, and then we was going to our first wedding catering this year, but they haven't canceled that. They haven't canceled it yet, but it's in June. But I'm sure they're going to, because I mean, how are they going to do it? So I understand. I mean, we might not have as much volume catering like you, but it's just I know it's hurting for everybody.
Everybody's in the same boat. The bride that you're going to be dealing with, she's going to have to, reschedule. So, if you keep in contact with her, I'm sure, she'll want to use you guys next, whenever that's possible. So good luck with that.
All right.
Thank you.
Same for
Well,
you.
guys, we have reached the time. I could talk to you guys all day. We could talk about this issue all day. But we have reached that time, and I gotta close up here. We had one other question come in, asked about food trucks and whether they're allowed to operate. The answer to that is yes, they are allowed to operate. There's a couple other restaurants that we want to mention who jumped in and wanted to get a mention. Mona's Eats and Treats, Planks in Grove City. Three Brothers, we mentioned them once, they jumped in. Scally in Reynoldsburg, and Siam Hibachi. So in closing, I wanted to mention that you can get on our website and get all this information at commissioners.franklincountyohio.gov. We will continue to host these commissioners' conversation, and you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Nextdoor. My colleague, Commissioner Boyce, is going to host the next one of these 6 p.m. on Thursday evening with the Office on Aging. They're going to update residents on changes that have been made to better our service to our seniors during this crisis. Of course, we want to reach out to as many of our residents as possible. So if you're talking to friends and neighbors, tell them that we'll be streaming conversations like these on a regular basis and posting them on our website. I will be back on again on Friday afternoon with Franklin County Health Commissioner Joe Mazzola. Guys, I want to thank everybody for doing this today. I really appreciate it. Thank you to Mikey Pappas from Tommy's Diner. Mike, I can't wait to get back down there to see your dad and you, and Lord knows my wife can't wait to come back down and see you.
I can't wait to see her as well.
I know you can't. No, you can't. My wife and Mikey have a thing. And Winnie and Moses, we're going to be out soon. I'm gonna see all you guys before too long, but we're going to be out soon because my kids are still, from yesterday, they're still raving about those chicken wings. So I'm going to be back out there real soon. And Leo,
for the support, Commissioner, we really appreciate you, and we're grateful. You thought about us, think about us, to concern about not only a small business. Everybody's like, understanding you at the position that you are, to come out and reach out to us and try to give us this kind of encouragement. We really appreciate you.
Well, you guys deserve it. You guys run a great business out there. Believe me, I'm telling you guys, if you want chicken wings, I live 35 minutes from there, and it is worth the drive. And they come in an order of 10. Dude, don't
limit yourself.
Get 30. Get 30. Especially if you got two teenage boys like I do. They killed 30. I'll probably get 50 the next time I go.
Thank you.
And Leo, I'm gonna be back in there probably. I don't know if it'll be this weekend or what, but I'm gonna be back and tell all the guys working there I said hello again. And I called him before I went in the last time. I called Leo and I had to figure out texted him. I had to figure out who was working so I could bring an appropriate tip, because I knew once I got there, everybody was working was gonna be my buddy. So I couldn't take a schluff tip in there. I had to make sure it was the right size tip. So guys, thanks for being on. We'll see you all soon, and all of you. Stay safe and healthy, and remember, we're all in this together, and we'll get through all this, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you.
Right. Hey, tell Tommy I said hi, Mike.
You got it.
Wait to come and try you guys' restaurant.
Yeah, I want to get some wings. John's
I want to
got me
get some
hungry
wings
now.
too.
See you guys.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to